There is a war happening inside you every single day. Most people never even realize it. It's silent, invisible, and relentless. The battleground isn't outside in the world. It's not in your job, your bank account, or your relationships. The real battlefield is your mind. Every thought you entertain is a soldier. And those thoughts are either fighting for your growth or fighting against it. They are either building you up or tearing you down. You don't just wake up one day. With a powerful mindset, you build it. Brick by brick, habit by habit, decision by decision. And until you recognize this, you'll stay stuck in cycles that were never meant to hold you, but were only meant to test you. Too many people focus only on changing their circumstances, their routines, their environments without ever realizing that true lasting change begins internally. You can't outwork a mindset that's built to sabotage you. You can hustle, can grind, can chase every goal in the world. But if your thinking is wired for fear, doubt, procrastination, or self-sabotage, nothing you do will ever be enough. Not until you face the source. The mind is the command center of your entire life. Every action you take originates from a belief. Every belief is born from a thought. And every thought, if repeated, becomes a pattern. So if you don't break the wrong patterns, they become your personality. They become your identity. And eventually, you start to mistake dysfunction for destiny. That's why mindset isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. You weren't born to. Live life reacting to every problem, being overwhelmed by every challenge, or doubting your value at every turn. That's programming conditioning that you've accepted over time. Maybe from pain, maybe from past experiences, maybe from people who spoke limits over your potential. But understand this, just because you've thought a thought 1,000 times doesn't make it true. Repetition is not truth. Reality is shaped by what you believe, and belief can be rewritten. You have more control than you think. You have the power to interrupt the loop of negative thoughts and replace them with empowering ones. You have the power to choose your focus. You have the power to build habits that don't just change your behavior, but rewire the way your brain operates. That's not philosophy. That's neuroscience. That's discipline. That's mindset. Work, because your mind isn't fixed, it's flexible. It's not a finished product, it's programmable. The question isn't, can you change it? The question is, will you? Will you make the choice to guard your thoughts like your future depends on it, because it does? Will you reject the victim mindset and step into ownership even when it's hard? Will you stop telling yourself that you're stuck and start telling yourself that you're building? Because the person you want to become isn't found. They're forged. You don't stumble into a powerful mindset. You build it. And you build it by intentionally practicing positive habits every day, not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's not. Because those are the moments that matter most. Those are the moments that rewire your patterns. It starts with small things: how you talk to yourself, how you react under pressure, how you choose to think when nobody's watching. Those seemingly insignificant choices are training your mind for the battles ahead. And when you start stacking the right thoughts, the right beliefs, the right habits, you start unlocking a mindset that can carry the weight of your potential. This isn't just about self-help. This is about survival. Thriving in a world full of noise, chaos, fear, and distraction requires more than just ambition. It requires alignment. It requires clarity. It requires mental armor, and the only way to build that armor is from within. Every person who ever rose above their circumstances didn't do it by luck. They did it by changing the way they saw themselves, by shifting their internal narrative, by adopting habits that trained their brain to see opportunity where others saw obstacles, to push through when others gave up, to believe even when nothing around them gave them a reason to. This is your invitation to start that journey. Because the truth is, if you don't take charge of your mind, someone or something else will. Culture will. Pressure will. Fear will. But you were made. For more, you were made to think bigger, grow stronger, rise higher. And it all starts not with motivation, but with your mindset. Let this be the moment where everything changes, not because your circumstances changed, but because you did. Asterisk each morning. You are given a gift, a blank page. What you write on it will shape the story of your day. Yet most people hand that page over to chaos before they've even had a moment to take control. They wake up, grab their phone, scroll through noise, check messages, see headlines, absorb stress, and they wonder why they feel overwhelmed, unmotivated, lost before the day even begins. This is not how powerful lives are built. Success starts long before your first task. It starts with a decision. A decision to begin your day with purpose, not passivity. To lead your morning, not be led by it. Because when you wake up without direction, life will direct you, and it rarely leads you anywhere worth going. Intent is the difference between drifting and driving, between wandering through your day and owning it. When you start your morning with clarity, when you know who you are, what you stand for, what you want to accomplish, you create alignment. And alignment brings power, focus, energy. It doesn't require hours. It doesn't demand perfection. But it does require intention. Even just 5 minutes of stillness before the world gets loud can change everything. A moment to breathe. A moment to check in with yourself. A moment to ask, who am I choosing to be today? Because it is a choice. You can choose to carry yesterday's stress into today. You can choose to release it. You can choose to let your past define you. You can choose to define your future. The moment you open your eyes, you are at a crossroads. One path leads to default. The other leads to design. Start by claiming the first few minutes of your day for yourself, before the noise, before the world demands your attention. This is your time to anchor yourself, to realign, to prepare your mind for the day ahead. Ask yourself, what are my top 3 priorities today? How do I want to feel, and what will I do to create that? What kind of energy do I want to bring into every room I enter? When you start your day with questions like these, you train your brain to look for answers that serve your growth. You shift from reaction to intention. You stop surviving your day and start creating it. This is the foundation of a resilient mindset, because life won't always go according to plan. Disruptions will come. Challenges will arise. But when you start from a place of intention, you're better prepared to adapt. You respond instead of react. You stay grounded in who you are, no matter what the day throws at you. And the more consistently you practice this, the stronger that mental muscle becomes. Eventually, you won't just start your days with intention, live your life with it. You'll stop doing things out of obligation and start doing them with conviction. You'll stop waking up dreading the day. Don't start waking up ready to command it. This habit, simple as it may seem, is a mindset multiplier. When you begin each morning by consciously choosing your focus, your priorities, your energy, you take back control. And in a world that's constantly trying to pull you in every direction, control is power. You can't afford to begin your days accidentally. Not if you're serious about change, not if you're serious about growth, because how you start determines how you finish. The tone you set in the first hour echoes throughout the rest of the day. This is not just about morning routines. It's about mental discipline. It's about telling yourself, I am in charge here, not your phone, not your notifications, not your fears or doubts. You dot every morning as a new beginning. Don't waste it in autopilot. Use it, shape it, build from it. You don't have to control everything that happens in your day. You can control how you enter it. And that's single. Shifts starting with intention change your focus, your emotions, your momentum, and eventually, your life. Gratitude is not just a feel-good exercise, it is a force, a mindset, way of seeing the world that has the power to shift everything. In a culture that's always chasing what's next, gratitude teaches you to honor what's now. And when practiced relentlessly, it has the ability to rewire your thinking from the inside out. Most people think gratitude is something you express when life is going well, when goals are met, when circumstances are ideal, when everything feels in place. But that's not true gratitude. That's convenience. Real gratitude doesn't wait for perfection. It shows up even in the middle of the storm. Because gratitude isn't about what's happening around you. It's about what's happening within you. It's easy to focus on what's missing. The human brain is wired to scan for problems, to identify danger, to point out flaws. It's a survival instinct. But if you let that instinct lead, you'll always be chasing. You'll always be lacking. You'll always be convinced that peace, joy, or success is somewhere out there, never here. Gratitude disrupts that cycle. It's a decision to see differently. It trains your mind to spot abundance where others see absence. It sharpens your awareness of what is rather than obsessing over what isn't. It shifts your focus from deficiency to sufficiency, from fear to faith, from complaining to contentment. Not because everything is perfect, because you've learned to value what matters. Gratitude is perspective, and perspective is power. When you commit to practicing gratitude daily, begin to reclaim that power. You interrupt negative thought loops. You silence the voice that says, "It's not enough," and you replace it with one that says, "This moment, right here, is a gift." Try it. Start each morning by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Not generic answers. Not what you think you should say. Be honest. Be specific. Be present. Some days, it might be your health. Other days, it might be the roof over your head, a conversation with someone you love, or the simple fact that you woke up breathing. Even on your hardest days, especially on your hardest days, there is always something to be thankful for. And no, this isn't about pretending that pain doesn't exist. This isn't toxic positivity. It's powerful honesty. It's saying, I see the struggle, but I also see the strength. I feel the pressure, but I also see the progress. Gratitude doesn't remove the challenge. It simply changes your posture in the face of it. It keeps you grounded, humble, awake. It reminds you that you are not owed anything, and yet you've been given so much. And from that space, you begin to show up differently. You speak differently. You think differently. You treat people differently. You treat yourself differently. Gratitude breeds resilience. People who are truly grateful don't quit easily. Don't crumble at the first sign of discomfort. Why? Because they've trained their minds to find meaning, even in difficulty. They've built emotional muscle. They've practiced seeing the good, even when it's hidden beneath layers of uncertainty or pain. That kind of mindset doesn't happen by accident. It's built through repetition, discipline, consistency. Every time you choose gratitude over complaining, you create a new neural pathway. Every time you acknowledge what's working instead of obsessing over what's not, you shift your emotional state. Over time, these small choices become your new default. You stop reacting out of scarcity and start responding out of strength. And here's the paradox. The more grateful you are for what you have, the more life seems to give you. Not because your circumstances magically change, but because you begin to attract peace, energy, confidence, and yes, even opportunity. Because people who operate from gratitude don't chase, they attract. This is how you begin to rewire your mindset for success, not through endless striving, but through mindful appreciation. Gratitude costs nothing. It takes little time. But its return is life-changing, so practice it relentlessly. Make it a habit that follows you into every part of your life. Let it shape your mornings. Let it soften your challenges. Let it elevate your perspective. And most of all, let it become who you are. You don't need more to be grateful. You just need to be more aware. Start now. Because everything you need to begin shifting your life might already be in your hands. Asterisk, the most powerful voice in your life isn't the voice of your parents, your friends, your critics, or even your past. It's the voice inside your head. The one you hear all day. Every day, the one that narrates your story as it unfolds. And here's the truth. That voice is either building your future or breaking it. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Every sentence you speak, every thought you repeat is planting something in the soil of your mind. What you water will grow. So the question is, what are you planting? What are you feeding? Are your words strengthening your vision or stealing from it? Too often, people speak words over their lives that limit them before the world even gets a chance to. They say things like, I'm not good enough. I never get it right. I'm just not that kind of person. I always mess things up. They say these things without even thinking, out of habit, frustration, or fear. But make no mistake, those words are programming your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your behavior. Eventually, the way you talk becomes the way you think, and the way you think becomes the way you live. If you constantly speak defeat, don't be surprised when you feel defeated. If you constantly speak fear, don't expect to walk with confidence. Your words are not just descriptions of your reality. They are declarations that shape it. But here's the power you hold. You can choose different words. You can choose a different narrative. Instead of saying, I'm stuck, say, I'm learning. Instead of saying, this is too hard, say, this is stretching me. Instead of saying, I'll never figure this out, say, I'll find a way. These aren't just empty affirmations, they are mental shifts. When you begin to speak possibility, you start to think creatively. When you speak identity, you begin to walk with purpose. When you speak strength, your mind rises to meet the words. And no, it doesn't always feel natural at first. Speaking power into your life is a practice, not a performance. It's not about pretending you have all the answers. It's about reminding yourself that you have the capacity to figure it out. It's about refusing to let your language limit your potential. Speak like someone who believes their words matter because they do. Speak like someone who knows that confidence is built, not born. Speak like someone who understands that every challenge is shaping a stronger version of them, and every setback is a setup for growth. This doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you choose how to frame your reality. Two people can go through the same situation. One will spiral into hopelessness. The other will rise with purpose. The difference: how they spoke to themselves through it. Your inner dialogue is either a prison or a platform. It will either chain you to who you've been or launch you toward who you're becoming. So ask yourself, what kind of words do I allow into my space? What kind of tone do I use when I talk to myself? Would I speak to someone I love the way I speak to me? If not, it's time to change the script. Catch the negative patterns before they take root. Replace self-criticism with self-leadership. You're not weak for correcting your thoughts, you're wise. You're not arrogant for affirming your worth, you're aware. Speak power into your life until it becomes your new normal. Speak it when no one else does. Speak it when it feels awkward. Speak it until the words that once felt foreign start to feel like home. Say, I am capable. I am disciplined. I am becoming stronger, wiser, and more focused. I am in control of my thoughts. I may not be there yet, but I am on the way. Do this every day, not just when things are going well, but especially when they aren't. Because it's in the middle of the struggle that your words matter most. That's when you get to choose between spiraling into defeat or stepping into growth. You won't always feel powerful, but you can always speak power. And in doing so, you remind yourself of what's already inside you: resilience, clarity, strength, vision. That power has been there all along. You just have to give it a voice.